Maintenance clean versus an Airbnb clean. What is the difference? The big difference is this. A maintenance clean is you being in charge and running the show of a house. So you show up to a house, you bring your own cleaning supplies, you know your routine, you go in, you're efficient, you clean the house and you leave. Think of it as black and white cleaning. Then you go to an Airbnb and think of it as ultra high def color cleaning, okay? It's a detailed clean every single time. Here's the reason why. The cleanliness is what bolsters the ratings and reviews. So people have a choice when they go stay at an Airbnb. They could also stay at a hotel. And so what you have to do is recreate the hotel experience inside someone's home. So what that means is instead of just cleaning the house and it's tidy and it looks nice and you're good with it, you have to go over every nook and cranny of the home. And so you have to clean all of the corners of all of the rooms. You have to clean the toilet and behind the toilet seat and around the floor of the toilet. And you have to make sure that all of the closets are vacuumed out, that there's no dust in there, and that the hangers are returned so that the guests can hang their clothes. There are things you're going to be doing, like cleaning out dresser drawers, that you would not do in a maintenance clean. But because there are guests coming in and they need a place to put their stuff, you have to open all those drawers and make sure that the last guests did not leave something. And if they did, you have to turn that into lost and found, and we have to try to contact those people and give those things back. Also, as a Airbnb cleaner, it is your responsibility to take pictures of the place between each guest. And this is what we're doing, checking for damage. Because if there are nooks that have been dinged off, like a dresser, for example, that needs to go in a damage report, and we need to tag which guest that went with. Guests that reserve the Airbnbs do put down a damage deposit. And if a damage deposit is to be redeemed, you must have proof, and you must have proof between each guest that it was that guest. And so part of your job is to take pictures and document everything and then report any damage that you find, including like empty toilet paper rolls and burned out light bulbs and stuff like that. You got to document everything. So there's a little bit more work involved, but also it's a great place to get before and after pictures with the host's permission. All right, another thing that you have to think about is the linens. You are going to be changing linens because guests come and go. And in normal houses, we don't change the linens unless the customer leaves them on the bed. And so you will be changing the linens for every single guest. And so you want to make sure that you have the proper tools to do it, number one. And maybe you have agreed with the homeowner that you're going to be doing laundry, which in a regular maintenance clean, you do not do laundry. And so you will be doing laundry. You may be doing dishes. You may be emptying out the dishwasher. On a regular clean, a maintenance clean that we do for homes, we don't clean the inside of the ovens and the refrigerator and the dishwasher. That is not part of a maintenance clean. But in an Airbnb clean, it is. And the reason being is the guests that come oftentimes have privileges to the kitchen. And so when they open the microwave, you want it to be spotless. And when they open the dishwasher to put their dishes inside, you want to make sure that the rims all around the seals are clean, because if they're dirty or they're gunky or have mold on them, it lowers the ratings and reviews. And in order for the Airbnb hosts to keep their status of superhost, they have to make sure that they get a rating of 4.8 and above. And that comes from excellent cleaning that you are going to provide. So it's a much more detailed cleaning. And then there are other things that have nothing to do with cleaning that will also be your responsibility. For example, usually there is a display. And the display is you setting things out for the atmosphere. You may end up turning on some ambient lighting, for example, and that would be part of your chore. It might be putting out leaflets of little magazines of things that are going on in town, or events or attractions or something like that. And that is going to be displaying those. In regular maintenance house cleaning, we scoop up all the magazines and we scoop up all the books and we put them organized on the bookshelves. In this particular scenario, they may have display coffee books. And you're going to open those up and you're going to stand them up and you're going to display them, because this is all for show. We're trying to create the most amazing experience. And so it might be setting a table with all of the dinner placements. And then you need to know how to set a dinner table so that it's fancy, because fancy is what we're selling. You may also want to learn and upgrade your skills on towel folding, a little extra touch that we do not do in regular maintenance cleans at people's homes, or create these little fun animals and things that you can make out of towels and leave them on the end of the bed or leave them in the bathroom for the customer to find. So the good news is this: when the customers find those, they take a picture of them and say, wow, I had this amazing experience. They tweet about it, whatever. And so it's a great way for the Airbnb to get some extra publicity. But what you want to make sure is that you understand what is involved. And so if you are not familiar with Airbnb cleaning, it's okay, even if you're a professional house cleaner and you're supposed to know it all. It's okay to go to the host and say, listen, will you clean with me the first time? Will you show me exactly what it is you do and what meets your standard of excellence? Because if you have one thing in your mind and they have something else in their mind, you could get fired really quickly and never know why. But if they know what they're looking for and they have their own checklist and they explain to you, here's how I do this and here's why, then it makes sense and now you know. And now you can be a long-term partner and you can have that regular money coming in every single day or every other day or however often they turn their guests. Now the Airbnb gets to decide how often they turn their guests, whether they have a 2-night minimum stay or whether they have a 4-night minimum stay or even a week. That is their choice. And so if it's only once a week, you only have 4 cleanings per month. But if they turn them daily, you could have this job daily, or it could be 3 days a week. So that's between you and the Airbnb person. But you need to know how they clean and exactly what they're looking for. And then it is your job to show up with a great attitude and provide the extra special touches that make their home spectacular. All right, so that's a little bit of the differences between a maintenance clean and an Airbnb clean.